when it comes to La Tribu or the tribe, which is my coaching group, there's a misconception about who the people are that come to me for help, who the people are, what are they struggling. And the misconception is that they all know what it is they need help with. And it couldn't be further from the truth, because so many times, there are people that come and have an idea, and honestly, it's just an idea of what they feel they've been struggling with. But 9 times out of 10, you've heard me say this before on videos or recordings or podcasts, that 9 times out of 10, that's not the real reason. And as I sit back now and take a deeper dive into the philosophy behind La Tribu and the philosophy of why it is that I do what I do, it's really for disruption. And disruption in a way of letting people understand that what they've grown to know as their norm isn't their norm. So many times people will just stay complacent. Why? Because what's the alternative? In their mind, there is no alternative. In their mind, their past experiences or their past history has led them to where they're at. And because of those past experiences, this is just the way it's supposed to be. And, I was thinking about it a little bit deeper last night. And first off, extremely grateful for all of the members of the tribe, and, past and present, and extremely grateful for the opportunity to be a part of that journey. And, some people, again, it's cliche, right? It's your journey, it's the process, fall in love with the process, not the result. You can go on and on with all the fancy or really cool quotes about it. But the reality is that everybody does have their own individual journey. The reality is that not two people in this world, in this entire planet, have had the same exact experiences, have had the same exact upbringing, have had the same exact trauma or good things in their life. So if we understand that, the philosophy behind the tribe and the way I go about my coaching is understanding that everybody is individual. And whether the person knows that they have been struggling with a specific topic or a specific thing, it's great, right? Because at least when someone comes to me and says, I feel I need help with, and then they give me, fill in the blank with whatever the thing is, at least it lets me understand and know that they've given it some thought process. Sometimes it's, somebody else has told me that I'm struggling with this, somebody else, or because of the complaints I've gotten or I've received, or the concern I've received, has led me to understand that this is what it is I need help with. And there's the other side of it where people just don't know. People just don't feel that they are where they should be. People don't feel like they're actually getting the most out of life. People don't feel like that they actually have control of their life. And when we talk about control, it's not about obviously getting everything exactly to the way you want it to be, because we understand there's a lot of different factors in life where we just can't control. But it's just understanding that the things we do have control over, that we can control. The fact that, and the ability that I can say, I don't want to do that anymore. Why? Because I know I have a choice, and I might not be able to stop doing it right now, but I am going to put in a plan, and I'm going to continue the process to make sure that at some point I can stop doing that. And that topic generally is about whether it's relationships or whether it's career, right? So many people are afraid to take that leap because change is scary. But we also know that living in the same discomfort day in and day out should really be scarier. So what do? For me, when someone approaches me and asks for help or inquires about joining the tribe, it's really getting them to understand that we're going to go through a lot of facets. This isn't just like a single level type thing. And we're going to dive deep. We're going to dive deep into maybe some things that you didn't know were causing some of these issues, but they've affected it. Or they've at least affected the way you've thought about going about these things. And it is a sense of obviously it's sharing, right? So it's vulnerability is number one on this list. If you can't be 100% honest and open about what it is that you're feeling, then how do we know where to even begin? Now, there have been clients in the past that haven't been so forthcoming at the beginning, and all it is you're just delaying the end result. And you're delaying the satisfaction of being able to get to where it is that you want to get to sooner. Now, not all coaching clients or coaching clients relationships are perfect, right? There's certain points where we have to be able to understand each other, right? I have to be able to understand, and more importantly, I have to be able to trust 100% that what you're sharing is exactly what's going on. And you have to put your trust in me because you're sharing a lot of things that maybe you haven't shared with anybody else. But the beautiful thing is, once that trust is built, once the space that has been given is trusted to share, that's where the true magic happens. And again, it might sound cliche, but the people that have worked with me can attest to this. And so many times we are afraid to share, maybe because in the past we've shared and we haven't gotten the response that we wanted, right? Or we haven't gotten the ability or even just the space to be able to work through certain situations to get to an end result. But my philosophy has always been you can't expect great things without doing the small things. We talk a lot about stacking small wins. I don't care how small, right? I was just talking to a friend of mine and, they're going through some struggles, and the ability to be able to not look so far ahead is powerful because we get lost. We get lost in the goals. We get lost in this is what I want to achieve in 3 months. This is where I want to be in a month. But we lose sight of what it is that we have to do day in and day out to get there. So stacking these small wins, like I told him, I don't care if your first win should be getting to 10 o'clock in the morning without any issues, right? Without any negative thoughts. And then from there we go to 11 o'clock and then 12 o'clock. And guess what? Before you know it, the end of the day is here, and everything you've done by putting your best foot forward because you truly understood that every hour was the process. And the goal wasn't a week from now or a month from now or let alone 3 months from now. The goal was the next hour. For the next hour, can I control my thoughts, which in turn will control my actions? And then every hour, I'm stacking wins. And that slow process is where a lot of people fall off. And they fall off just because of that, because it's slow. They can't continue, and because it's not moving fast enough, they'll fall off. And there's so many analogies that we can use this for, and there's so many places that we could use this for, whether it's a nutrition thing, whether it's a fitness thing, a health thing, a mental health thing. It's all about stacking small wins. If we get lost and we're so focused on the end result and we lose sight of what has to happen every day, it's going to be a struggle. So my goal with clients is, how can we taper it down and how can we focus on those small things daily and create a habit structure for you? Mind you, it's individual. There are very few clients that are a part of the tribe right now that are doing or focusing on the exact same habits day in and day out. And the reason for that is because they're all separate individuals. It's not a cookie cutter program. It's not a one size fits all. I've said that time and time again, but it's truly individual. So when people come to me and they expect, right, they expect it to be, again, a cookie cutter version, right? They expect it to be a one size fits all. That's the first clarification we have to have, right? We do focus on certain pillars, which are the foundation points of the tribe. Because for me, when people come, even business clients, right, they'll reach out trying to fix or get processes put in place to generate more money. And at any business, that's the end goal, right, is generate money, and rightfully so. But in order to focus on that, we can't focus strictly on the process that's going to make the money. We have to focus on all the other processes and systems in place just to create a great work environment. right? If an individual were to come to me and say that they wanted to make X amount of money, my first question wouldn't be about how much money you're making right now. My first question would be, what are your systems and processes right now? Even as an individual, right? Where's your physical health? Where's your emotional health? Where's your spiritual health? Because those are all, if we stack all those, then the money will come. And honestly, your perspective on the dollar or the amount of money that you're trying to reach will come, right? And that perspective is going to change. Why? Because we think that certain things are important, but as we go through the process, we start realizing the true importance. And what's important for one person is obviously doesn't have to be important for the other one. But the philosophy behind the tribe, the philosophy behind what it is that I do and why I do it, is strictly to disrupt the thought process that people have had of what their norm should be. Is to help people break away from generational curses, right? We've had a few people that have come through the tribe, and their mindset has been stuck on the fact that that's just the way it's supposed to be. Why? Because it's been like that in my family for years, decades, generations. And it's interesting. Why? Because we see the power of how an environment can generate these type of mindsets, these type of thought processes, right? Where you truly just, this is what I'm supposed to be doing because everybody before me did it. You know, we have examples across the world about, people being first-time college graduates. And that's breaking the norm. Why? Because before then, it wasn't even a thought that you should go to college for whatever reason, right? We have people breaking emotional generational curses. Why? Because for so many years, I just recorded a podcast on that. For so many years as a man, you weren't supposed to speak up. It just wasn't okay. You just dealt with it. So we're breaking those type of, generational curses. So again, when I say that the tribe is here to disrupt the norm, I truly, truly mean it, right? Because if there's one thing that I have or that I can attest to being, having the experience helping and mentoring people is the gratitude that comes from it. Why? Because I understand fully that people that are going through the program or going through the process, the goal is to live an extraordinary life. The goal is to live happy in whatever your definition of happiness is. It's different for me than it is for you, and that's okay. The point here with the tribe isn't to convince everybody that they should be happy in the things that make me happy. The goal of the tribe and the program is to ensure that you are doing everything you can day in and day out, right? When you go to sleep, you know that day was filled with you stacking small habits to ultimately get you where you want to get to. And I would say the overwhelming, most beautiful thing about this is that so many times, and I could say honestly, probably 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, the majority of the people forget about the goal. Why? Because they fell in love with the process. They fell in love with just the feeling they get every day from stacking those small habits. And the goal, they understand that the goal is still important, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is what they feel every day, having gone through the process and knowing that they're putting their best foot forward. And they fully understand that by stacking these small habits or small wins, the goal's going to come. And sooner than later, we have to start talking about the next goal. Why? Because before they even knew it, the first goal that they wanted to achieve is right around the corner. And for a lot of them, it's a surprise. Why? Because for a lot of them, it was an impossible thing. There are people walking around right now that feel it's impossible to be happy. And I hate to say that. I've had people come through the tribe and honestly kind of throwing their arms in the air and saying, this is my last attempt at actually investing in myself. And as sad as that conversation is, it's a real conversation. And unless we're truthful with ourselves of where exactly it is that we're at and what our thoughts that go through our head are, then we can't make a change. So if making a change, if even just wanting to kind of scratch the surface of what does that even look like, I encourage you and I challenge you to look into investing in yourself. Invest in yourself physically, right? What does that look like? It doesn't have to be go join a gym. It doesn't have to be hire a nutritionist. It's as simple as just taking a look under the hood and just challenging whatever the norm has been until this point. At the same time, I encourage you and I challenge you to invest in your spiritual life, whatever that means to you. And again, you don't have to go like start visiting churches tomorrow or whatever your belief is. But it's just take a look under the hood. Make sure that on a daily basis, those things that are important to you are getting checked off in whatever capacity it is. And lastly, but definitely not least, your mental health. What do you think about on a daily basis? Are those good thoughts or are those bad thoughts? And if you start noticing that you feel that you're stuck in this place of unhappiness because you think that that's just the way it should be, then I really challenge you to step out. I've got countless stories of people that have come to the tribe that have made a difference, not only in their lives, but in the people around them because they decided to seek discomfort. They decided to break the norm. And I woke up this morning with a quote, a saying, and it was helping people disrupt their norm of what they think is their norm to live extraordinary lives. And for me, that sums up what the tribe is all about. It's whatever it is that you thought you should be doing because that's just the way it should be or that's just the way it is, and it makes you unhappy, that's not the path. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for all the people that have put their trust in me throughout this journey with the tribe. I'm grateful for them because they've enabled me to understand the true value of creating a safe place. I had a feeling about it before, and I had a thought about it before, but going through this with clients day in and day out brings it to a whole other level. I'm also grateful for the tribe and the clients. Why? Because they've enabled me to tap into my own, to dive deeper into my own thoughts about my spiritual life, my mental health, my physical health, and the challenges that come with it. And I'm very open. That's one thing you will get from me on our coaching calls is, and my clients can attest to it, is I'm very open about my own struggles as well. We fully understand that nobody's perfect. Me being in the position I'm in, I don't claim to be perfect. I just claim to have a really good understanding of my gift. And whether I have the answers or not, the one I believe in, I know will guide me and put the words in my mouth that are necessary every situation. And until now, it hasn't failed me. And that's where my spiritual life comes into play and my faith. So I'll wrap this up by saying, if you feel that you're in a place that you shouldn't be, if maybe you've tried other things to try and help you get out of that thought process or get out of that place, I challenge you. I challenge you to pick those 3 things, right? I'm not even going to get into the financial side of things. I'm not even going to get into why, because those things, right, unless you are 100% happy with where you're at individually, we can't focus on those things, right? One of the other things one of the other pillars for the tribe is family. It's the same thing though. You've heard me say before, you can't give what you don't have. So we can't even start talking about family stuff until you yourself are happy. Or at least you yourself are happy in the place that you're at, knowing that you're doing everything on a daily basis to get you where you really want to be.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.